Hello everyone. It's October the 15th. We have best time to buy and sell stock. Oh, best time to buy and sell stock with cooldown. I've done this before. I've done this. I think I've done all of the stock thing. I think there are like 6 or 7 of them. Best time to buy and sell. I probably have done this more than once, but I mean, I have to remember how I solved it. It's state machine. Right, this type of problem is almost always state machine. And then I think there's one post did a very good summary of all the problems. And we can take a look. I think I've done it. Okay, I've done it only once. We've done it only once. It's 2020, July the 29th, and July the 30th. I think I tried it again. Okay, I don't quite remember, but let's try it. It's state machine, and what I feel is like I only know to use state machine with best time to buy and sell. I don't know in other problems. Anyway, so we're given an array of prices, right? Yeah, price of a given stock on the ith day. Find the maximum profit you can achieve when complete as many transactions. This is as many as you can. Buy one and sell one multiple times with the following restriction: after you sell your stock, you cannot buy stock on the next day. You have to cool down 1 day. You may not engage in multiple transactions simultaneously. You must sell the stock before you can buy it. Okay, so buy, sell, cool down, buy, and sell. Alright, so state machine. We have 3 states in this one, right? We have a state is called hold. We have a state, hold state is we're holding something, right? And we have a state is empty, we don't have any, and we have a state is cool down, right? So from a holding state to an empty state, we do a sell. We do a sell. And after you sell, you cannot buy. So after you sell, so when you go into the empty state, in order to go to a holding state, you need to hold on. Empty state is only a sell, right? How about the cool down state? So after I sell, hold on, no. After I sell, I actually go to the cool down state. That's actually wrong. And how do we go to the empty state? After cool down, then I go to the empty state, and then I can buy. I cannot buy, so we have to go to the empty. So let me try this again. So we sell. So holding state, I sell. We go to the cool down state, and a cool down state I can remain in cool down state, right? We can remain in cool down state. I don't have to do anything. And holding state, I can keep holding. Empty state also I can keep empty. So the transition from holding to cool down, need to sell. From cool down to empty, we don't have to do anything. I can just from cool down and then go to empty state. And from cool down, from empty state, I can go to holding state buy, right? Is that the state transition? Of a cool down state, right? We must go through cool down state, and then we go to the empty state. And from the empty state, we can buy, and then we go to the holding state. And each day will be in one of the states. And then we can do, like if I am in a cool down state, if I'm in a cooldown state, then no, if I'm in a cooldown state, there's only one way to go, because cooldown is only achieved by selling. So if I'm in a cooldown state, the only way to go is to transition to the empty state. But if I'm in the empty state, I can choose to not buy or buy. If I'm in the holding state, I can choose to not sell or sell. So yeah, that is the state transition. So how do we write this? We need the initial state, right? Initial state, and then we're gonna keep track of the maximum profit at each state, right? At each state, and we have no limits on how many transactions we can make. So starting, so we have holding state, empty state, and cooldown state. So the initial price on the holding state, we have nothing to hold. So the initial profit is 0, right? And an empty state, initial it is empty, and is that all? Can we all start with 0? And then for the holding state, first one is going to be if we want to maintain a holding state, so we stay in itself. Alright, so nothing changes. If for the holding state, then if I want to stay in holding state, then we can either from empty state to buy, right? From empty state to buy. So we're gonna say empty state buy is minus, right? Buy is minus. So we can say the new holding state will be the maximum, right? The maximum of the previous holding state, and then the empty state minus purchase. The purchase is going to say -1, so this one going to be 0. The empty state. The empty state is going to be the previous empty state or the previous cooldown state, which in this case is just 0. Now cooldown state can only be from the sell, right? So the previous is 0, and the sell is going to be from the holding state, and we have 0 in the holding state. Wait, now we're not moving. We're not making anything. Hold up. No. Holding state. I think holding state, because we need to buy, right? So we need to buy. If we don't buy, then there's, so which means if we buy, the holding state, the profit will be negative. So let's say the holding state should be negative infinity. We start. So the first move we're going to buy would be -1, right? -1. And the empty state is going to be 0. Now cooldown state is going to be holding state to sell. The previous holding state is 0. So we have nothing to sell. So does that mean it's going to be 0 still? Because we have nothing to sell. I mean, we can. We say we sell -1. No, we have nothing to sell. Because it's whatever is at holding state, and then we plus, right? And at the end, it's always going to be sell. So what you're looking at is the empty state when it's end. Well, it's sell. Do we sell initially? Prices 1. And the transition from the holding state. Holding state is 0, right? And then if we sell 1, let's say we do sell, so we get 1. So the next round, again, holding state, I can either do -1, or I can buy, right? I can buy. So buy is going to be 0 -2, and that's not good. So we're gonna maintain and -1. Right, -1. The empty state is going to be transition from cooldown state to empty state cell. So the empty state becomes 1. And then the cooldown state is going to be the previous, which is -1. And then we can say cell, so +2. And that's still 1. Okay. So next round, okay, that's 3. So I'm going to buy it again. The buy will be -3, so it's still going to be -1. Empty is going to be 1. And then cooldown is going to be cell 3. So -1 with cell 3 is going to be 2. Right? The cooldown state is going to be 2. Because holding state is -1. So we cell 3, okay? So next one is going to be 0. If we buy from the empty state by 0, then we get 1. So minus 0, right? And then empty state is going to be 2. Cooldown state is going to be -1 plus 0, so it's still 2. Last one's 2, so we can buy. So 2 minus 2 is 0, so 1 is still bigger. And then empty state, gonna move up. Empty state is 2. And the cooldown state is from previous 1, and then we sell, so it's 3. So the result is 3. Oh, this is weird. I still the state transition, and I mean it does work. You know, we did make it work, but I think the transition state is like we are at a state, right? And then we look at how can we transition to me, and then we're looking at the previous state, and then we get whatever profit the previous state is, and then we're gonna add if we sell, right? For the empty state, we can only go in here by selling. Oh, if it's minus negative, then this is actually minus negative. Right? This is actually minus negative. This is a minus negative plus a value, so it's still minus negative. It's and then we got -1, then +2. That's how we get to 1. Well, that makes more sense. All right, let me code it up. State machine is something that can also be discussed in great detail. I actually look into the code I had in the past, like how I did it without using state machine. Like now, the only thing I know is state machine. I think it's just state machine is another way to express dynamic programming, right? That's what it is. So we have 3 states. We have holding, we have hold, empty, and C. Holding, I'm going to import math. Holding initially going to be minus math.inf as the holding state, initial profit of holding. And then empty is 0, and this is 0. Why is minus negative for the holding state? Well, it's the profit. Well, it's because the holding state can only be transitioned by buying from the empty state. and buying is a negative value, right? So in order to buy anything, the initial must be set to minus negative, negative infinity. Otherwise, we won't be able to buy anything, right? Yeah, just like suppose your initial when you start, the holding state is negative infinity, right? You don't have anything. You have the lowest. So therefore, it's an incentive for you to buy something because that is a better choice compared to not buying. So we're gonna say for P in prices, right? For P in prices, just for transition. So H, new H equals we need old and new. So new H will equal to the maximum of old H, right? Maximum of old H or E minus price. And new E equals max, empty can be empty, and then C, previous C. And then new C equals max. Now new C is just equal to, because only one transition can go to C, which is cell, which is H plus what? H plus P, right? Once we've done that, we can say HEC equals new H, new E, and new C. And once we're done, we're going to return. Because the final stage is we sell, right? We sell, so we enter C. Actually, we're going to return C. Okay, let's try this. We have 1, 2, 3, 0, 2. Like 1, 2, 3, 0, 2. Result should be 3. Second one is 1. Ugh. First one passed. The second one does not. Well, because C initially is negative infinity. So what do we say? Like if it's negative infinity, then this means it's 0. Because we cannot use 0. Right? Can we use 0? No, we cannot use 0. So we return maximum of C and 0, right? Let's try some more test case. I don't know, just putting some random number. Price has to be smaller than 1,000, so these not gonna work. Just break them up into smaller numbers. Okay, and see if it works. Yeah, it works. I think this works, but still, I need to refresh my memory on this. Oh wow, I got it wrong. 142, output 1, expected 3. We buy 1, sell 4. And we don't buy. How is this wrong? Hold on. 1, 4, 3 shall give us 3. Yep. What do you know? So what? We print new H, new E, and new C at each time. Let's see. It is 3. Why did I get 2? Oh, it's 2. So I should return empty. Huh. Well, what shall we return? Maybe the maximum of these 3. So it's not going to be. Okay, so what we can say is not going to be a holding state, right? Because if you're a holding state, that's always going to be less. So you always want to sell. And when you sell, you can either be in the C or you be in the E. So how about we just say max C and E, right? Max C and E will pass. And then this probably pass as well. Yep. Maxi is it can be a empty state or cooldown state. Try it again. Yep, this one works. 469 days. So I've done this before. I've done this type of problems many times before. State machine is the way to go, but we probably should revisit the concept again to refresh my memory, our memory on this. So for this implementation, we have holding, empty, and cooldown state, right? Holding state can be reached from holding or empty state. From holding state via no operation, or empty state via a by. Empty state can be reached from empty state via a no op or cooldown state. Cooldown state via also a no op. And cooldown state can be reached only from holding state via cell. And then that's it. And then we go through each price and keep track of the max profit on each state for each day. And the answer is the max profit between between empty or cooldown state, right, at the end of the day. So we call this ON, and we hit 50 milliseconds, 39% ranking. These are not really important. We don't really care about these. What we care about is to relearn, right? To relearn the whole process. I don't know if it's posted here. It's posted somewhere with a diagram and everything. Alright. Cursive iterated conversion can be done easily. Let's just read through. Dynamic programming. Buy or sell or ignore. Along with day, we also need to maintain a buy variable. What if we want to do a transaction today? It will be of which type? No transaction today. Day plus 1. Transaction today. Okay, first choice, no transaction today. What is buy? If we want to do a transaction today, it will be of which type? If we want to do a transaction today, of which type? Okay, so buy is a Boolean value. And we return the profit, right? Return the maximum profit. So every day we have two choices. We either don't do anything, right? And then we want to solve prices, and day plus one. We just go to the next day and then we follow the same option, right? Follow the same option as before. If we wanted a transaction today, it'll be which type, okay? So this is another transaction, that's cool. Second choice, we can say, do the required transaction of this day. If it's buy, it's gonna be minus, then we do the next day, why it's gonna be false. We can keep buying. Why is it false? It's only one cell, right? It's only one cell. Wait, where's the cooldown then? Where's the cooldown? No transaction today. And doing the required transaction. If it's going to be a buy, then we buy it. Wait, is it? No, it's the cooldown happens after sell, right? Did I mess up something? You sell, you cannot buy on the next day. There's a cooldown. Is that supposed to be a cooldown? I feel like it's reversed. It's like if buy, then the next day we can be buy or sell. But if it's sell, the next day can only be buy or a no option. Well, we always do no option, so that's fine. But if previous is buy, then I can buy. If previous is sell, then now this is the transaction required, right? Which means what transaction I can do. If I want to do a transaction, what should I do? Let's say if the transaction today I do is buy, then you're saying the next day I cannot buy. That's not true. That's not true. And if I say if today is sell, the next day must be buy. This is true. Right? This is true, which means if it's not buy, which means a sell, if today is sell, then, day plus 2. Oh, day plus 2. So I'm skipping a day. So if today is sell, I'm skipping a day, and then I say it's going to be true. But I don't understand. You're forcing, right? You're forcing the next day. I can sell again. Why do I have to keep buying, right? They didn't say like you have to do buy and sell. You can do 2 sells. Or can I complete as many transactions as buy one and sell one share multiple times. You may not engage in multiple transactions simultaneously. You cannot sell the stock before you buy again. I don't know. I don't know about this logic. It's like say if today I'm buying, then we say in tomorrow I cannot buy. I can only sell if I want to do a transaction. But why? I don't like it. Alright. Let's go state machine. Just go again. Alright. So that's state 1, state 0, 1, 2, right? 3 states. What is this 0? S0 is cell. S2 is the cooldown state. S0 is the empty state. S1 is the holding state, right? So if it's 0, it can be itself because we can hold. No, this is empty. Or you can transition from S2. S1, we can rest or buy. It's going to be this minus the price, right? So this one holding state. This one minus the price. Or S2, only one way from, we do sell, which is this plus. And the maximum of these two states, which is the holding a cooldown state or empty state. Right. So at the starting point, they say S0 is the empty state. The empty state is 0. And then the holding state, right? This one is holding state. So it's minus price. After buy, you should have, and then S2 is, that's slightly different from what I go. Yeah, I think I read this. Yeah, I remember this one. They initialize the minus price 0, which is the holding state, right? SA is the holding. Initial minus, why? I don't understand why the holding state initial is minus this. And then this one is negative infinity. I said this one negative infinity. Because my rationale is, if you are in a holding state, you need to buy, right? We need to initiate buy. But buy is a minus, right? Buy is a minus operation. Oh, by setting it to minus start, so C started at 0, so it's a minus. Therefore, oh, I see how they do. But the B, what about the B? B is going to be the previous state plus price A. Oh, when I set this is to minus negative, this to 0. Oh, then we transition from this is the same because it's a minus infinity plus the price was still going to be minus infinity. Okay. Yeah, so that's just that, but there are a lot more similar problems. And this one does not have restrictions on how many you can buy and how many you can sell. I think there's also other problems with like how many transactions you can do. What are those? I actually want to take a look at those. Oh yeah, this is the thing. Yep, this is the thing. I try to avoid writing something like this. This is easier for me to understand. I just use 3 more variables, so it's just much easier to understand. And this one is just hold, right? Not hold, and cooldown is this. Anyway, I think we can get there by looking at similar problems. There gotta be a lot. Best time to sell. take a look at this. I think I've done this one too. Oh, I've not done this one. What is this? You can only hold at most one share of the Sky anytime. However, you can buy it, then immediately sell it on the same day. Ooh, that's different. What's the one that? Oh, here we go. With cooldown, with transaction fee. Let's take a look at these two. I forgot one of them. One of them that I've done before. I think is has a requirement on the number of transactions, if I remember correctly. I think all of them can be solved by at most 2 transactions. Exactly, this is the one. I think I've done this before. Yes. Oh, look at this. A bloodbath. That's a bloodbath. Starting from 7:13, ended at 10 o'clock. Wow, 3 hours. Jeez. Blah blah blah. At most 2 transactions. I think isn't this the most K transactions? Yeah, this is the ultimate. Oh, I think I've done this one before as well. Yeah, this is the ultimate. K transactions, at most K transactions. I think at most 2 transactions. This is still, hold on, this is still the same model, right? This is the same model. And there's no cooldown state. It's just buy or sell. So we only have a buy state, the holding state, an empty state, right? Oh, but because there are only 2 transactions, which means there are only 2 holding states and 2 empty states. I think that's the thing. So we can go empty to holding through a buy, and then from holding to empty with a sell. That's like, what counts as a transaction? Buy, sell. That's it. No, then buy. And so buy, sell is a 1 transaction. So we can buy, sell, and then buy, sell, right? Which means there are only 4 states in this. 4 states. How do we reason this? So, and of course we can choose not to buy. So every single one also has a no option, right? No operation. And then we just name it H1, E1, and H2, E2, right? So E1 goes to H1, H1 goes to E2, E2 goes to H2, and H2 just goes nowhere, right? H2 just sell. Well, H2 go to E1, and eventually we're gonna compare E1 and E2, whichever is larger, right? And how do we code this? So we only have 2 transactions. So the prices, at each price, we go through all of them, right? Let me think. So as we go through every single price, we're gonna go through all 4 states. Is that how it's done? Hold on. Let me give it a shot. So the one I'm thinking about is H1, E1, H2, E2, right? Well, like how I go, the holding state will always start with negative. Empty state will start with 0 and 0, right? And then we just say for P prices. Oh Lord. Hold on. So for P prices, I have 4 new ones. Come on, man. Come on. 4 new ones. So we say try h1 e1, right? h2 e2 equal to, so how about h1? h1 is going to be max h1 or e1, right? Empty 1 minus p, and then e1 is going to be e1 itself or h2 plus p, and h2 is h2 by itself, or hold on, let me write it. It's e1 h1 e2 h2, so h2 is going to be e2 minus p, right? e2 minus p, e2 minus p, and last one is e2 by itself or h1 plus p, and then we're going to return the maximum of e1 and e2. I'm not sure. Let's take a look. Nope, that's not correct. As the first one is not right. Output 8. Expected is 6. Okay. I'll do this here. This is some extra things I want to try. X. Solution X. And then the test cases are different. Tests equals 2. Yeah, I think eventually I'll delete this. Just for fun, right? For fun. That's the answer. Answer should be 6. And then prices. Yep. I mean, it could be just because of this expression. All right. So let's do a stupid way. So new h1 equals, right? This is the really stupid way, but it's guaranteed to be correct in terms of the operation, right? The actual operation, not the logic, but just the operation. New h2 equals to this, and new e2 equals this, right? And then we simply redo new h1, new e1, new h2, new e2. And then we run it. Nope, that's not the issue. And there is something wrong. Buy on day 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Price is 0, and sell on day 6. That's 3. And then buy on day 7, and then sell on day 8. How did I get to 8? I don't know. Can I even get to 8? How did I get to 8? H1, and E1, and H2, and E2. Let's take a look. Oh, we have 8. And we have no 6. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember 4th day, 5th day, 6th day. We already have profit 2, which means we buy here and sell here. So I have 2, which is fine. And then plus 3. And we cannot sell. We buy. It's as if we we bought as 5. Yeah, how do we get 5? Because we plus 3, right? That's how we get 5. No, I don't think this is correct. I mean, this is like... This is like I buy here, sell. I can't even figure out how is it possible to get to 8. Like maximum profit here is 2. This is 3. 2 plus 3 plus 3. Ah, I think this is unlimited. I think I am actually doing unlimited. Yeah, I'm not restricting to 2 times. I'm doing unlimited. What unlimited is, you buy 3, sell 5, you get 2. Buy 0, sell 3, you get 3, that's 5. And then you buy 1, sell 4, that's 8. But we're talking about limited. So that's not how we do limited. How do we do limited? How do we do limited? I remember it is 4 states, right? We have 4 states, and then should be once we terminate, and that shall be the end. Hold on. Man, I have no idea. And then I buy. Shouldn't be like we do a first transaction and then do the second transaction. How about 1? I mean, for one thing, when we start, these 2 shall not be allowed. They cannot be allowed until we have these 2. And then once they're done, then we are done. Okay, so the current idea is, so the first 2 we can start and end anytime we want, right? But then the second 2 can only do it after the first 2, and after the second 2 is done, then we should be done. It should be buy 0, sell 3. And then buy 1, sell 4. How do we express this? Then buy 0, sell. So we have 5, right? Yeah, we have 5. That's the second transaction. Now we're done. And then this should be somewhere, should be like a 3 coming out. don't know. I forgot. I completely forgot. Two transactions. So yeah, so two transactions are 4 states, and then we can only transition between the 4 states. And then when we ended it, we cannot transition from E2 to H2 to E1. Isn't that the key? Because if we can transition from H2 to E1, then there's no end. Which means after E2, we can sell, right? So buy, sell, it should go to a separate ending state, terminating state. Okay, let's try this. So H2 will end. So we're going to have another state, let's call it the absorption state, ABS. Oh, how about end? End state, right? So we say H1 is fine, and E1 cannot take from H2. So E1 is just E1. E1 is just E1. There's nothing I can do because the empty state 1, the first empty state, is just by itself. And then H2, we can go, H2 can go this, and E2, H2 going to sell from E2, and we're going to have an end state. I'm going to max, end state, I mean, it's going to be max end state itself, right? And then, because in the end state, if I'm at the end state, I just stay at the end state, or H2 plus P, right? And then, let's say end equals end, right? End equals end. And then we don't need any 2 then. It's just E1. E1 or does that mean E1 never changed? So E1 buy, but nobody goes back to E1. E1 is our starting state. Yeah, because E1 is our starting, so we don't need to have E1, right? We don't need to have E1 because E1 is not used. E1 is used, but E1 never changed. Okay, if that's the case, then we don't need E1. Right? E1 is not necessary. We just need 3 states, H1, E2, and H2, and end. We're still 4 states, but we have an end state. And this is just going to be minus P. And then I'm going to remove E1. And then we're going to try end and E2. There we go. This one passed. And if we print out everything, and we don't have this, and we have end. Now I see the 6. Yeah, so we have an end state. So that's, and then I'm pretty sure we can just do H1. And I think we can move these here. This equals this. This equals this. This, That's what it means by having only 2 transactions. It is. Two transactions means that we have 4 states, right? It means we have 4 states. Let's try it again, all test cases. 2 transactions means we have 4 states. We have empty 1, right? Holding 1, empty 2, holding 2. But the empty 1 is not necessary because we cannot go back to empty 1. So empty 1 state is always 0. But we do have an end state, which is the end after we sell from holding 2. And this one shall work. Yep, it does work. I think they changed this, they added more test cases probably. Look at this, I have 76 milliseconds in the past, but right now it took way longer. Oh yeah, sure, they changed it. I think they changed it. 200 test cases, see that? It's 200 test cases, whereas right now it's 214 test cases, and we landed in the middle. Right, so that is a solution. If we take a look at this solution, oh, did I just close it? Oh, that's the other one. I think it should be the same. State machine, okay. So when we start with this, which is, yeah, okay. So H1, H1 is a minus, you see that? H1 is a minus, and E1, hold on, H1 is minus, okay, and E1, I think that's the end state, E1, so E1 or H1, or H1 sell to, oh, we run a different, H1 sell to E1, okay, and then H2 will be E1 to H2, yeah, and E2 is the end state. E2 equals to E2 and H2 plus. So yeah, that's the same as this, and we return E2. E2 is the very end state. It's a very end state. State transition, yeah, it's still state transition. So what's the difference? Difference is I don't have a E2 here. That's the difference. We always start. Yeah. So every round we always start from, this is fresh. So we'll only have 4 steps. Okay, how about this? K steps. Well, if it's K steps, K equals 2, which means we have to okay, so we're gonna have hold 1, right? The empty 1, hold 2, empty 2, all the way down to whatever we have at the end. So depending on K, we're gonna have K pairs, right? Have K pairs, and so we're gonna have a array, right? We're gonna have an array. We're gonna have a hold array and an empty array, right? Each will be the same length as K, and then we just iterate through both. Okay, so no. How do we handle this? So H1 goes to E1, E1 goes to H2, H2 goes to E2, right? And then all the way down, HK, and then it goes to EK, and that's it. And we know H1 is always minus price, and from E1, it's always going to be max E1 itself, and H1 holding empty plus P, and H2 is always going to be max H2 and E1 minus P, right? So it's always going to be like this. So I can actually do even and odd on this, right? We can do even or odd. Or we use 2. I think use 2 will be easier. Okay, let's try this. So we're going to have a H's holdings. We're going to start with all holdings going to be mass negative infinite times k, and all empty is going to be 0 times k. And then we're going to do just for p prices, right? For p prices, HS0 is always going to be minus p, right? There's no question, because that's the first state when enter. We always buy, right? We always try to buy at each price. And then we're going to say for I in range 1 to k, actually k plus 1, no, 1 to k, the remaining k minus 1. So we're going to say ES, ooh, then we're changing values. Oh no, that's fine, because we're using the values that's still the previous value. No, because E1, I changed my value. I changed my value at E1. So on H2, it doesn't have my previous value at E1. Damn. I need new temporary. I need a temporary array. I need temporary array. Yep. So we need to say htemp. It's just going to be, doesn't matter, minus p times k. Doesn't matter. And then etemp equals 0 times k. Doesn't matter. We'll just have this. And we're going to say etemp, right? Etemp I will equal to max ESI, right, is the previous, and HSI is also the previous. No, I minus 1. The previous is I minus 1. So ESI minus 1. Oh, is it minus 1 or minus? No, it's I, the previous, and then this is going to be HI minus 1 is the previous state, previous holding state, and a plus P. Alright? And then htemp I is going to be max HSI and ESI minus 1 minus P, previous minus P. So we're going to do blah 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 to fill all the temporary array, right? As we fill them all. So we fill them all, then we can just say HS ES equals htemp and etemp. And then when you return, it has to be empty state. We can just say max ES. Alright, let's try this. It could be max ES, or it could be just... Oh, I didn't write. That didn't write. I'll put 4. Huh. Buy on day 2 and sell on day 3. Buy on day 5 and sell on day 6. How is this not right? We're following the same rule, right? Empty equals maximum previous empty on the same thing. And then, oh, I think it's SHI. Is it SHI? It's not I minus 1. Oh. Wait, is it I? Yeah, because that's the previous value. This is the current value. So it has to be range K. Right? Then ES is 0. Now that's not going to be ES 0. Okay. What do we do here? Because the 0, 1 is a special case, right? The 0, 1 is special case. So, okay, let's still do 1 to K, and then just handle the special case. So we're going to do this is 0, right? And we just, H temp is 0. It's going to be minus P. And E temp is 0. Going to be max. ES is 0. And HS is 0 plus P, right? That is the initial state, which is just going to be, because HS, yeah, and then we can do that. All right, try again. Run it again. There we go. That is correct. Can we simplify this? I don't know how to simplify this. Let's just try this. Another attempt. Ooh, wrong answer. How? Hey, that's the same. We have the same problem. We have the exact same problem. Output 8 is supposed to be 6. I thought we fixed this by not. Okay, hold on. They do say the starting point is always minus P, right? So the starting point, don't get anything from the previous one. And then E0. Of empty states will be the previous ES0 or HS holding state plus P. And then for every single one, empty temp, this until the last one, to the K. Well, we go all the way to the last one. E, the last one will be the previous H. Hold on. Oh, I think the H is, the H is wrong. The H is wrong. The H is ESI minus 1. So that's the case. H is wrong because the holding state is from the previous empty state. The previous empty state. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. 6, 6. That's the previous empty state. That makes sense. I'll try it again. Submit. No me gusta. The heck? That's still not right. Okay, this one, let's take a closer look at this. We don't need this. We passed this test case, but we fail on this one. It's supposed to be 11. The output is not. Let's take a look. Uh-oh. Prices. We also have K. Max profit. Okay. Okay. So we have 2. I feel like I've done something like this before. Yeah, I remember. How do you want to do this? We just print HS ES. There's H1, H2, and E1, E2, right? And at the end, E1, E2 is 10. But H1, H2 we're still holding. So it's maybe what, like buy 1, sell 5, buy 2, sell 9, right? Buy 1, sell 5, we got 4. And then buy 2, sell, how do we get to 10? That's 7. Buy 1, sell 4, that's 3. Buy 2, sell 9, that's 7. That's 10. That's 3 and 4. We have 3, buy 1, sell 4, and buy 1, sell 5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At this point, we have 4. And then I say it's going to be buy this, right? Next day, sell 9. That becomes 7. I sell 9. Becomes 10. Or why is this not right? Holding state is the previous empty state minus the price. Empty state is the previous empty state. It's always say holding to empty. So it's the previous holding state plus P. Oh, why one of them works and this one doesn't work? Right, so it should be buy 1, right? So it should be minus 1. Look at this, minus 1, buy 1, and sell 4. We got 3, right? Buy 1, sell 4. And then we need to buy 2 and sell 9. No, buy 1, sell 5. My bad. Buy 1, and cell 5 is here, 4, right? Buy 1, sell 5. Just buy 1, sell 5, we got 4. Then how is this not right? Hold on. Let's get my previous one out. Let's get this one out. Alright, so let's get this one out. And we run the same thing. I'll just say K in prices. This doesn't matter. Yeah, this one passed, so I'll just print H1, H2, E, well, E2 and N. But that one goes a little bit different. That one goes a little bit different. Yeah, I think I need to change this one a little bit. So it's gonna be I'm gonna write it the same way. So it's gonna be H1 to E1. How about this? H1 to E1. H1 to E1, E1 to H2, and H2 to E2 like this. So H1 to E1 and H2 to E2. So these are all the same. And then H1. Then so H1 is always going to be minus P. Like this, right? Like what we have here. H1 is always going to be max H1 and minus P. I think that is the case. That's the problem. I forgot to go max. That's not minus P because H1, it also can go by itself. So it has to be max HS 0, right? And P, and minus P. Which, there we go. Now we pass. I forgot about this. I forgot to write max. Yeah, this has to be max as well. Which actually means that now we have to do if every single time. Because the H is going to be this minus P or 0, right? So E is I minus 1. If I equals 0, then it has to be 0. What do you say? We say, let me just run this test case one more time. Yeah, all about the starting point. Yes, about the starting point. List index out of range. Oh, wow, this is what is this? 0 transaction. So if K is 0, right? If K is 0, then be 0. If K is equal to 0, return 0. Which can be avoided if you put it inside. See? If you put it inside, okay, I think I'm gonna change my idea. Put it inside. So we don't have to do this, and then blah blah blah. We just don't do this, right? And then this can be decay, and this we just need to be careful. And we say this if I is larger than 0, right? Else 0, and then this minus p. Yeah, we'll just do some more if statements. Oh, the hell. Max ES, yeah, ES is empty. Or this, right? Yeah. All right. Try this. There we go. Now we're talking. But 177. All right, what did I do in the past? Hodgepodge kind of solution. P in prices. Oh, here's a little trick. Oh, unlimited transactions. So we do unlimited transactions, and then each time we add H, a holding state, a different holding state. The number is smaller equal to the required. Now we do our return. If this doesn't work, then we go state machine. Look at the state machine. The k plus 1. Oh, k plus 1. K plus 1. Yes, k plus 1. It's not going to be, I think it will be slightly faster because we don't have to do, yeah, k plus 1. And look at this, it doesn't have another one. We just directly do it. Huh? Couldn't do that way? SH, this one already changed. I don't know how this one's possible. It's already changed. That's not the HSI we're talking about, because it should be the previous SHI. So I don't think that's right. But we do have idea, right? So basically we just say SHI and ESI equals to this, but because we do 1, so k plus 1, so we can just do this and this. We don't have to worry. And we'll put this one here. Don't have to worry about this. Of course, don't have to worry about this. And ES minus 1. Yeah. Try this. Test cases. Yep. That's much faster because we don't have to copy and paste and stuff. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. So yeah, this is the solution. I'll do a preset. so this is the final version. This is the final version. So basically, I think the key on the number of steps is the holding state, right? It's the holding state. Have to be maximum holding state of previous state, previous state, and previous state. Yeah, this is more accurate, and we don't have to do the so-called hodgepodge stuff. All right, so yeah, we just went over all the tricky buy and sell stock. I think we went over what, like 3 problems, 3 maybe 4. It's good. It's good. I think every time we have this, we need to do this because the state machine way of thinking is very different. And once I start writing it, and I kind of get more understanding, but do it from scratch, yeah, it does take some time. Alrighty, that will be it for today. Okay, this is almost a year ago. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios.